I have a lot of updates to give you guys on this tank right here. And the reason why I don't call it the Monte Carlo tank anymore is because I have a new plant in here that might take over in the future. Who knows? It just depends on how it turns out. But yeah, let's go ahead and cut to the chase, and I'm gonna give you guys an update on this tank right here.
Remember those days, those L's, I couldn't sleep right now. I get paid, vacay, I'm staying B-side. Breaking the blues over steak, I gotta eat right. You could be my peace sign.
Alright, so if you're unfamiliar with this aquarium right here, it is a 30 cm UNS planted Aquascape tank, glass tank to be exact. And I was going for the Garden Cube Iwagumi style, I think that's how you pronounce it. And I have a whole bunch of Monte Carlo growing around Dragonstone, which is placed in the middle. I was originally going to keep the Iwagumi style, but my fish ended up having some territorial issues, which is why I went ahead and added some new plants in this tank to kind of break the line of sight. So before I give you guys more updates with this camera facing me, let me go ahead and zoom into the tank and give you guys a better update of this aquarium right here. Alright guys, so I went ahead and closed the blinds so you guys can see the tank a lot easier, but you guys can see it. There's a new plant slash resident in the back right corner of the tank. And one of the main reasons why I added in this plant is because when I first added in these Gouramis right here, they were having a lot of territorial issues. So some of them were hiding on top of that heater and behind the filter and stuff. So instead of them hiding in like artificial areas, I figured that I might as well just add in a new plant. So that's why I went ahead and added in this Rotella. As you can see, the runner is kind of just spread across the back, and then yeah, it's just going to take up that whole back area. So it's going to be a lot easier for a fish like this right here. The aggression is still there, but it's not as crazy as the first day. Yeah, at first I wanted this tank to be a full Monte Carlo tank with just this plant up front, but the thing is, adding in this plant in the back is not that bad looking, and plus it hides my equipment, and then it also gives my fish places to kind of chill and hide. They're kind of just messing with each other, but that's what they do. If I didn't have these plants right here, it would be a huge issue. I only added in 4 strands of this Rotella, and it grew to this much. I had these plants for a while now, but I had them floating in my sump. The reason why I had it floating in my sump is because my boy was doing trimmings and he was going to throw it away anyway, so I went ahead and collected it, put it in my sump, and just had it floating there. It wasn't growing anything, but it was surviving. And then once this stuff touched the soil and got all the nutrients from the soil, it just blew up from there, and it just grew. Like it tripled or even quadrupled the amount of plants in this tank. But yeah, that's what's going on with that. I still have my Monte Carlo. It's doing okay. I would say that there's a lot of algae that grows. Let me see. I'll go ahead and switch to my macro lens to show you, but there's a lot of algae that grows on the plants. Way more than this plant right here. I think because the Monte Carlo has kind of slowed down in growth, so I think that's why algae is kind of grown on it. It's not looking the best. I would say it looked way better when I first added it in and when it was still growing, but since it kind of carpeted out the front and has nowhere to grow, I think the actual plant's growth kind of slowed down, and then it's promoting a lot of algae. But let me show you how thick this portion is right here. So as you can see, it looks like, it's just that little thin area of Monte Carlo. Check this out. This whole thing right here is Monte Carlo. As you can see, the soil goes from the top part of the UN logo, and then this whole thing is a huge mat of Monte Carlo. It's like, it's nuts. Like, look at that. That's a lot of Monte Carlo. I think I could have trimmed this. I could have probably trimmed this, but I just never noticed how thick it got though. It's like super, look at that. That whole mat right there is Monte Carlo. This side's not that thick. See, you see how like the soil is right here? The soil is right here, and then like the plant's up top. Look at this. Look how thick it is, man. The soil starts here, and then this whole thing is Monte Carlo right here. Maybe I'll try trimming it. I don't know. Never tried doing it. I figured that I would just leave it alone, and we'll figure it out later. But if this becomes an issue, like this grows from here all the way to here, then we're gonna have a problem. I still have these Neorite snails in here. They're doing okay. Same with these cherry shrimps. They're not doing as well of a job as they were before. I remember when I first added in this type of algae eater in this aquarium, they would clear out the algae really fast. But I think recently with the new addition of fish and the livestock and the nitrates and stuff, it just kind of promotes a lot of algae growth. So that's why I'm thinking that the algae is kind of beating these guys for now. Oh, and I totally forgot, I have an Otto in here somewhere, but I don't know where he is right now. I saw him earlier today when I was doing maintenance, but yeah, he's doing pretty good too. So yeah, this is one of my nicer looking licorice gouramis in this aquarium, and as you can see, it's looking for some food. I actually trained these fish to not eat live foods anymore. So in the beginning when I first got them, they were really stuck on eating Daphnia and brine shrimp, live baby brine shrimp to be exact. And then after that, I went ahead and bought some frozen baby brine shrimp, fed it to them, it worked. And then I went ahead and moved on to feeding them some like dry looking worms and stuff and viper bites, and they've been eating it ever since. So now every once in a while I'll feed them frozen baby brine shrimp, I'll feed them viper bites, and then I'll also feed them like crushed New Life Spectrum pellets and stuff. So they have a big variety of food when it comes to like their daily diet and stuff. So I think this is the reason why these ones are coloring up pretty nicely. Let me go ahead and find my other one though. So some of you guys might not remember this, but in my first video of me introducing these fish, I had one of these gouramis, and the tail looked a little bent. It looked like it had like a broken spine or something, and this is the one. At first I thought it was a goner, I thought it was going to be a permanent issue, but come to find out that it ended up healing and it's looking as good as ever. Look at him. So you can't even tell this one even had a problem. Like at first its tail was super sinking to the ground. It could have been water quality from the local fish store, but yeah, the tail would not come up. It looked like it had like a permanent damage or a permanent issue because it really had a hard time swimming. But as you can see, it's doing pretty good. You honestly can't even tell this one had that tail issue. Look at those fins, man. It looks really good. So I'm really glad it ended up healing. It's looking as good as ever, and yeah, it's just kind of chilling. As you can see, they love chilling in these plants. Like they love hanging out in these plants. If I didn't have these plants, it would be a huge problem. Like they would be fighting all the time and all that stuff. And plus these plants, they help with the water quality, so adding them in here is not a bad idea. But yeah, they love it, man. They're always in here. If they're not fighting with each other outside, they're chilling in the plants. Like they're really peaceful when the plants are around. Oh look, there's another one right there. So that's the third one. So it's 1, 2, 3. This is also a lighter color too, so you guys can see this one has less contrast, and then this one right here is so nice. You see how colorful it was? That's how it looks on a regular basis. And then this one right here never really colors up. The two that aren't super colored, I think they're probably females or something, because look, like this one right here compared to this one, like that looks really different. Let me know down in the comments below, what do you guys think? Do you think this is a male? See the colors, look how nice that is compared to this one right here. Like is this a female? For these embers though, there's not really much of an update to give you guys. They're not really my main focus for this tank, but thing is, I ended up having these ones from my sump when I accidentally bred them, so that's why they're in this aquarium. I might move them back into the sump because I know the wolf won't eat them, and who knows, maybe they'll breed more for me, and we'll see, because I know for a fact that these embers are too small for the wolf to even try to eat. And yeah, I think the next time we go back, I'm gonna go ahead and move them back into the sump. Here is one of the pygmy corridors that's in this tank. It's pretty rare to see one out, especially by itself. So yeah, I don't know what this guy's doing. Maybe he's hungry and looking for food. And while we're on that topic, I went ahead and found my Otto, which is right here. It's in the back. Yeah, ever since I added in all these plants, my catfish, they all hide in the back, rarely ever come out. So yeah, it's a rare sight to see this guy right here. Alright, so I went ahead and found one more pygmy cory in the back, and yeah, like I said, man, these ones right here are my favorite cories. And the reason why is because you can have a big school in a small tank. And when they're in big groups though, they act way different. Before, when I first added these guys in, I only had like 5 or 6. Then I went ahead and added in 6 more, and they just mob. It's crazy. They all come out together, they all eat together, and then when like someone walks by the tank or they get scared, they all just bolt away, and it's like they were never even there. And yeah, man, I think they're the coolest thing ever, especially because they're a smaller species, or even the smallest species of corridors in the world. So yeah, man, it just makes it way more fun to have like a whole bunch of these guys in a smaller setting, and just watching them explore and eat and all that stuff. This is honestly my most colorful fish that I have right now. And look, they were saying that it's super hard to get them off of live foods and stuff. Look at him. He's eating like random stuff in the tank. So I appreciate this guy, man. It's a pretty good fish. Alright guys, so that's pretty much it for today's video. I hope you guys enjoyed it. I wanted to give you guys an update on this tank because there might be some of you guys that follow me for this tank and just want to see what's going on with the aquarium. The biggest thing, again, like I said, is that rotella corner, adding a lot of places for my fish to hide and providing a lot of areas and opportunity for like breaking the line of sight when it comes to the aggression of my gouramis. But yeah, if you follow me on TikTok and Instagram and stuff, you'll see a bunch of these little behind the scene things, and yeah, it's pretty sick. Thank you guys for watching. Stay tuned for the next one, and peace guys.